You lie awake at 2 in the morning running the same conversation again, the one where you explain your case one more time, better this time, and reality finally agrees. You rehearse it, you win the argument in your head. Then morning comes and nothing has moved. The strange part is that this replaying feels like effort, like you're still fighting for something, when it is quietly the thing keeping you tired. Nobody warns you because it feels like caring. There is a pattern under this, and most people only see it after it has already cost them years. Watch what you actually do. A door closes, a job you wanted goes to someone else, a relationship ends without your permission. And you do not put it down. You go back to it. You imagine the sentence you should have said. You build the version where the timing was different, where they saw you clearly, where the diagnosis came later, where you had more money when it mattered. You call this thinking. You call it processing. But look closer. You are not solving anything. You are negotiating with something that has already finished happening. That negotiation is the suffering, not the loss itself. The loss landed once. The arguing lands every single day, on schedule, unpaid. Here is what makes it so hard to see. The arguing feels responsible. It feels like the opposite of giving up. You believe that if you stop turning it over, you are somehow agreeing that it was fair, or that it did not hurt, or that you failed. So you keep the case open. You keep yourself on trial. And the strange result is that the thing you refuse to accept becomes the thing you can never leave. Think of the person who lost the business they spent a decade building. For 2 years they explain to anyone who will listen exactly why it should have worked. The market, the partner, the one bad month. Each explanation is true, and each one keeps them standing in the wreckage a little longer, defending a building that is already gone. So you might think the lesson is simple. Accept it, let go, move on. That is the answer everyone offers, and it is only half true because it misses why you cannot. You are not protecting the loss, you are protecting who you were before it. That is the part almost nobody names. Underneath the argument with reality is a version of yourself you are trying to keep alive. The person who was going to have that career, the one whose body could still do what it used to, the one who was going to grow old with someone specific. When you refuse the loss, you are not really refusing the fact. You are refusing to become the person on the other side of it. And that person feels like a smaller life, a demotion. So you stay and argue because arguing lets you keep believing the old self is only delayed, not finished. See it in something ordinary. A man at 50 keeps training for the body he had at 30 and keeps getting hurt and keeps blaming the recovery instead of the plan. He is not fighting his knees. He is fighting the disappearance of a younger man he was not ready to bury. The injury is not the wound. The refusal is. This is why surrender takes more courage than control, not less. Control lets you keep the fantasy that you are still in charge of the outcome. Surrender asks you to stand in front of what is real, with no story that rescues you, and stay standing anyway. That is not weakness. That is the harder thing, and the cost of not doing it is quiet and enormous. Every hour spent defending the old self is an hour stolen from the one who is actually here. You miss the conversation in front of you because you are still having one from 3 years ago. You meet new people through the grief of who you used to be. You spend your one real life as a lawyer for a client who no longer exists. That is the private fear underneath all of it. Not that you lost something, that you will spend what remains guarding a version of yourself that is already gone, and call that loyalty. Some people only find peace after losing everything, because losing everything finally ends the negotiation. There is nothing left to argue for. The case closes on its own. And in that silence, they discover the thing they were too busy defending to notice was still theirs. You do not have to lose everything to reach it. You only have to stop rehearsing the argument you already lost. The piece was never on the other side of winning. It was on the other side of setting the case down.